Welcome. In this video, I'm going to use Autodesk SketchBook to show you how to create a butterfly digital illustration project. The project rubric states that you will produce an 8.5 by 11 JPEG file of a bilaterally symmetrical butterfly drawn with black lines and closed shapes that are then filled with colors on a white background. This drawing will be based on an actual butterfly photo. You will also use the symmetry tool that's in the toolbar and the paintbrush that's in the brush palette to draw the butterfly and the shapes in a bilaterally symmetrical design. That means if you drew a vertical line down the center of your drawing, it would look like the mirror image on either side of the line. You will also learn how to use the flood fill tool, looks like a little paint bucket, and the Copic colors, both in the toolbar, to color your design using either warm or cool colors. You will see how to use the layers panel to view the reference photo on one layer and to draw and color a butterfly on another layer. And finally, we will talk about how to save your project. While you're working, you will do a save as for your project and save it as a TIFF file and name it butterfly your last name -6 and then the period that you have art. Okay. When you're finished and you save it again finally as a TIFF file, you're also going to do a save as to save your project as a JPEG file format and name it the same as you did the TIFF file. That would be butterfly your last name -6 the period when you have art. The JPEG file format is the version that I will then use to print on our color copier for you. You're going to store all the versions and your reference photo that you're going to download in the folder on the Google Drive that I have shared with you. Okay, so to start our project, the first thing you're going to need to do is in our classroom, our Google Classroom, on the butterfly reference photo section, I'm going to choose one of those photos to download and save in that Google Drive folder that I've shared with you. Okay, this will be the photo that you are going to use as your basis, your reference, and use it to trace your outline of the butterfly. Okay, so what you want to do after you pick which one you want, click on it. I think I'll go with the Alaska butterfly. Click on that and open it. And then up in the upper right hand corner, these three dots, click on that and then click on open in a new window. That's going to give us the option to then download this photo. So you're going to hit this download button. Okay, here it's shown up down in the lower left hand corner. I'm going to say show us where it is in Finder. Takes us to our download folder. Here it is. And what I do is click on it and then drag it to my Google Drive. I'm going to go to our 6th grade folder. I have my own folder in with the 6.5 group. So I'm going to put mine in there. You can do that. I'm still holding down on the mouse or the trackpad, whatever you have. When you get to that folder, then release, and it will be stored there. Okay. Now, let's go to SketchBook. This is called the interface, the SketchBook interface. And the things I want to point out to you on the interface are the toolbar up top, the brushes palette on the side, the Copic color library, and then the layers panel. Okay, all of these panels are movable. I like to put them off to the edges to make the most room for my artwork in the middle. Okay, but all of them are movable. Right. So the first thing we want to do is go to File and Page Setup. Now, because our butterflies are all horizontal more than vertical, or you could say landscape more than portrait mode, I'm going to click on this icon showing that the image will be on the page with the paper in a horizontal position, okay, as opposed to the portrait or vertical position. Okay, so just to make sure we have that. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to File, Open, because I want to open that butterfly image. Okay, if it doesn't pop right up for you, you can go to your Google Drive and navigate to your folder, your shared folder, because that's where you put your butterfly reference photo. Click on that and then click Open, and that will open our reference photo. Now, in the Layers panel down here, the first layer that's listed on the bottom is the background. You could sort of think of that as your paper if you were sitting at your desk. The next layer came in as the photo of the butterfly. So what I'm going to do right now is click on, you can click on the circle next to the butterfly and draw a, kind of drag a line over to this icon that says rename the layer. It's a very good habit to get into, to rename the layer. We aren't going to have that many in this project, but I still would like you to rename your layers. So we're just going to call this the butterfly reference photo. And click OK. Okay. Now, this is known as the opacity slider, and what I'd like you to do is slide that down to about 50%. So we can still see it, but it's not as bright as it is at 100%. Okay. The next thing I want you to do is click on that circle again and drag up to the icon with the green plus sign. That means add a layer. We're going to add a layer, and we are going to rename this layer Drawing and Color, because that's where we are going to trace our photo and apply color after we've drawn it. Right now, in a drawing program, what we need to do is create closed shapes so that we can then fill the shape with color. Right? So we have to make sure everything that we draw that we are going to want to color in the future is a completely closed shape. So you come back to where you started the shape or connect it to another line there to create a closed shape. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. Now, like I said, we were going to draw this butterfly, and it is basically symmetrical, which means it's the same on one side as it is on the other, but not the exact copy. It is a mirror image. All right. So we're going to use this tool up in the toolbar. It's called the Symmetry tool. You're going to click on that, and right when you do, you see this dotted line right down the center of the butterfly. We are also going to use this paintbrush tool in the tools or in the brush palette. Now, to if you double click on that icon, it brings up the properties panel for for the paintbrush, if you could do it on any of these tools, but we're going to use the paintbrush as our way to draw the lines. Okay, what I'd like you to do is set that at 2.0. Okay, that's going to be the size of the paintbrush that we are going to use to draw our lines. And then you can close that. So now we're in the paintbrush tool at 2.0, and the color that we're going to use, remember our rubric said to use black for all the lines, so we're going to make sure we're going to use this library, the Copic Color Library, and make sure that we're in the black. Okay, so whatever color you click on, it shows you that's the color that will show up when you start to draw. But for our lines, I want to do black, so make sure that you've clicked on the black. Okay, so we are using the symmetry tool, we're using the paintbrush tool at a size of 2.0, and we are using black in the Copic colors. We are on this drawing and color layer. It's indicated because of the blue line around that layer. That means that we are on that layer. We're not on the background layer. We are not on the butterfly layer. We don't want to draw on our reference photo because in the end we're going to turn that layer off. And the way that you do that is click on the eye icon for that layer. Okay. So we're not going to want to print the butterfly photo out when we print out our drawing and our file. Okay. So I'm on the drawing and color layer. There's nothing on there yet, but I'm just about going to start now. Now when you start, I'm going to draw mainly on the right hand side. It doesn't matter which side that you draw on, but you know, I tend to draw on the right hand side. What I'm going to do is start a little to the left of this line of symmetry, just to make sure when I come back and finish the shape that it is completely closed. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to start right up at his head. I'm going to a little bit to the left of the line of symmetry. I'm going to click down and start to draw. And as you can see, whatever I'm drawing on the right hand side is going to show up the same on the left hand side, but in mirror image. So I am, oops. I'm going to redo that one because I slipped. I was drawing on a piece of paper. Okay, let's start again. A little bit to the, doesn't matter if you are directly on the outline. I'm going a little bit fast. Okay, and come back, come up to there. Okay, now that part of the wing is a closed shape. The body's not a closed shape yet. What we can do is pick up on that line again to finish the body. Come down and just slightly overlap. Okay, so I make sure that that is a closed shape. All right, the next thing I'm going to do, pick up right here again, make sure that I'm kind of overlapping that line for the top wing. Start to draw the bottom wing. And I'll come and make sure that I close the shape by running into that line of the body. Okay. Now I'm going to go in and start to trace over some of these lines that make the design of the wing. As long as you touch the outline, you can overlap them a little bit just to make sure it's a closed shape. Now my advice is, as we get drawing shapes and get sort of dividing the bigger shapes into smaller shapes, do not make your shapes too small. Excuse me, it will be really hard to color them in if they're too small. And you don't have to exactly follow every line that's on your butterfly. trying